Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Hey, this video is for all the what I like to call in-betweeners. These are people who think they want to come to Cambodia, but they're not sure if they want to make it their permanent retirement or work home. But they want to stay here for longer than a couple weeks or a month. People who just want to check it out more before they make a long-term decision. And then there are those who might make enough money from some online job, but they're not old enough to get a retirement extension or visa extension. And so they're kind of an in-between place too as far as visas go and that kind of thing. I just like to call them in-betweeners because they're not sure. But anyway, this video is for them. I'm going to tell you a way that you can stay here for 6 months without having to make a long-term commitment. 6 months is long enough for you to live here, check it all out, get immersed a little bit in the culture, just to see if it's for you or not. And as a reminder, did you know that we rely on your support to keep us going? That's right, there would be no Dave Does Cambodia without all my wonderful, lovely supporters. So if you like what we do here, you want to support the channel and help us out, it's always very much appreciated. And I will leave links down below for PayPal and Ko-fi.com if you want to do that. Every little bit helps and we do appreciate it. And also there are links down below if you want to purchase any of my 5 books. And for all the readers out there, give yourself something to chew over. All right, so the first thing I want to say is that this is not a hack. This is not a loophole. This is not, everything here is above board. It's the way the system works. If you want to stay here for up to 6 months and check it out before you make a long-term yearly commitment. The second thing I want to say right up front is that at one point, you will have to leave the country and come back in for this to work. But it's all legitimate. Not going to get in any trouble. You don't have to go undercover or anything like that. It's all above board. So the first thing you want to do, if that's your situation, is you want to come in initially. When you first get to Cambodia, you get your visa on arrival. You want to take the tourist visa. The tourist visa is good for 30 days. So your first month will already be set. However, you can extend your tourist visa one time only for an additional 30 days, and you can do that in country. So basically, by coming in on a tourist visa, you are set for the first 2 months without an issue. Now, once your second tourist visa is done, you'll need a different type of visa, and to get that, you will have to leave the country. Take a day trip to Thailand or Vietnam or somewhere else. All you got to do is cross the border. That nullifies your tourist visa. And then you simply come back in on that same border into the country. And this time, though, you want an E-visa, or otherwise known as the ordinary visa. This is one you need if you're going to stay long term. But the initial visa, the initial E-visa, is also good for 30 days. So with those three, your first 3 months are done and dusted, already taken care of, and you should be getting the feel of Cambodia by then and everything else to determine if it's a place you want to live long term. But if that's not enough, that's okay. Because once your initial E-visa expires, you go to any travel agency in town and you will get a visa extension. It is the EG visa extension. A lot of people call this the looking for work visa, but you don't need any documentation that you're actually looking for any kind of work or job especially if you're one of those people that just don't know if you want to work or if you want to retire or what's going on. But this EG visa extension is good one time only. You can only get it one time. You can't extend it or anything, but it's good for 3 months, 90 days. Therefore, that gives you your other 3 months. So between the 2 tourist visas, your initial E visa, and this EG extension, you can stay here for 6 months, which should let you immerse yourself in the culture, get the hang of things, how they work around here, see if you like it or not. And then you can make a decision on if this is the place you want to retire or if this is the place you want to come and work long term. And that means you don't have to commit to a yearly visa extension right off the bat and then find out a couple months later maybe it's not for you. I know that's happened to a few people, and that's never a good thing when you just know you made the wrong decision, and there's nothing about those people that is weird or strange. After a while, they just decided at this time it was not for them, and decided to go back home, and that's fine. You're free to do whatever you want, of course. But by doing it this way, there are a couple things you should know. First of all, because all your visas are short, they will be single entry, which means except for that one time you have to leave the country to change your visa type, if you leave the country at any other time, you're going to have to start all over. So you're not going to be able to hop around during that 6-month period, really. You're going to be kind of contained into Cambodia unless you want to start the process over. That, of course, again, is up to you. But it's definitely not necessary. I think, and like I said, this is the way the system's set up, and you can use it like that without any issues or any problems or any complaints. And I think it's good for some people. I know most of you probably already know, and you've done your research, and you just say, nope, Cambodia is the place for me. I already know about it, and then that's fine. Go about it the regular way. Come in on the E visa, and then get your retirement extension or the EB for if you're going to work and your work permit and all that. And that's no issue. But there are a certain amount of people who just don't know. It's a big world. And they might see videos like mine, or maybe Ultimate Ages, or For Real, or one of the other channels. I've listed a bunch of channels down below so you can get information on this country from more than just me. A lot of great information coming out of those channels. So be sure to check them out as well, of course. But, a lot of people look at it and they say, yeah, it looks beautiful. I like what I'm hearing. I like what I'm seeing. I can see myself living there. But as I've always said, Cambodia is not for everybody. There are just some things here that are going to be far more annoying to some people than it will be for others, because all of us are different. So the things I can put up with, the things that I find disagreeable perhaps, it's not a big deal. It's not a deal breaker. It doesn't make me want to grab my things and go back home. It's just the way things are. And some of those things can absolutely mess with a person's head if they're not ready for it. Depending on your personality and the kinds of things that you find odd or weird or off-putting, I guess you could say, you will find those things here. But how you handle it is up to you. And if you're not happy, chances are you're either going to stew in your own misery and bemoan your life choices you made, and you're going to make others around you just as unhappy and miserable, because misery loves company. Anybody who's spent any time on the internet reading comments on YouTube or comments underneath a post you just put up randomly on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter will tell you that people are going to disagree with you and get angry about just about anything you can think of. Even something in it. You can post a picture of a frog and you can just write on there, Man, I really love frogs. I think they look cool. And you're going to have people arguing about that in the comments. It's everybody has an opinion about everything, and unfortunately, the internet gives them access to complain about it, as people are wont to do. But yeah, if you do this method, if you go about it this way, you get a full 6 months here. It should be more than enough time to figure it out. Get acclimated to the weather, get acclimated to the food, get acclimated to the people, and different places you want to go shop, and you can make that determination if this is something for you long term. And like I said, there's nothing wrong if it's not. I know people who've been here, who came over here for just a few weeks, and by the time they were done, they were like, I'm ready to leave. I'm ready to get out of here. It was nice. It was beautiful. I had a great time, but I can't see myself living here full time. And I completely understand that. I get it. Like I said, we're all different. There are things that are going to piss you off, things that are going to be off-putting, and like I said, everybody's different. So those things might not apply to me or to maybe even the majority of people living here, foreigners living here, but if it does to you, then you got to be you, man. I never encourage anybody to stay if they're having doubts or if they start feeling like they made a mistake. It's okay if you go home. I'm not going to judge you. If other people do, that's on them. That has nothing to do with your decision. You got to do what makes you happy and forge ahead and do that thing. That's the beautiful part about living, right? Do what makes you happy and forge ahead. And speaking of that, let me just catch up to date a little bit. I have a story that's been accepted for a horror anthology. It's coming out in July. That anthology is called Readings from Cursed Room 301 from Mad Axe Media. I have a story in there. It's a road trip turned backwoods horror story called Jacob. And this whole book is great. We've already got the contributor e-copies, so I've already read it. And man, you get 16 stories in here, and I am so happy I made the cut because some of these other stories from these other authors are just fantastic. Things I wouldn't have thought of. I was like, oh man, why didn't I think of that? And the whole theme of the book is to take horror tropes, things you find in horror a lot, and turn it on its head somehow. Like, twist it around and come up with these surprise endings. And I really love that about it. I just found out that I have another story that's just been accepted in an anthology coming out later this year. The title is still to be determined, but it's right now it's just being called Apartment Tales of Terror. And all of these stories are separate, but they're all based in one single building. And each author had to pick a floor and a room number for their apartment in that building, and then tell a horror story based on living there. And mine, like I said, I just found out yesterday it did get accepted. Contracts are coming soon, and so that's always thrilling. And also yesterday I did get another email from a third anthology I submitted to a while ago. This one is like they wanted horror comedy stories, shorter ones. Normally a short story I write are like between 5,000 and 7,000 words. This one wanted them 2,500 words or less, and I didn't have one ready, so I had to write a brand new one. And I really like it. It's called The Demonic Mnemonic. And and I just got an email from them saying, hey, guess what? Your story made it to the second round. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to be in the final edition, but I made it through to another round, so as they whittle it down, we'll see how that goes, but fingers crossed on that. And I'm still waiting to see about my first horror novel. I sent the full manuscript per request to a publisher, and I'm waiting to hear back from them to see what they think, but that could take a while before I get a yay or a nay, but keep your fingers crossed, because being a published author would just be, instead of just self-published, would be fantastic. That would just, yeah, that brings you up to a whole new stratosphere, and if people like the book, you'll start getting other requests, and yeah, I'd be all for that. All right, so be sure to check out all my links down below. Like I said, I have PayPal and Ko-fi.com if you want to help support the channel. I do appreciate it. You guys rock. And from Siem Reap, Cambodia, I will talk to you guys in the next one.